What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another stream. International break is finally over. We can have a look towards game week 9. My wildcard is active, as I'm sure a lot of you in the chat is as well. We'll have a look at my wildcard team. I've still got a few decisions left to make. We will also answer all of your questions, talk about your teams as well, a few dilemmas, a few potential bits of injury news that we've had over the past couple of days, like Isaac, that you might be looking for replacements. We will go through all of this. Again, I seem to start the stream with an error every single time, so let me know that everything is running smoothly and we will get on to the stream. Thank you so much, Jordan, for subscribing again. All subscribers get a little bit of a shout out over there on the screen. Little notification pops up, so do subscribe if you are new. If you haven't already, say hello in the chat, and also say hello in the chat, and we'll get to our usual rounds of hellos. Drop a like on the stream if you have not already, and we will get into all that good stuff. Good morning, Oscar, Mr. Focal. Nice to see you in. Good luck this week, and I'm sure good luck with your stream later as well. So yeah, say hello in the chat, and we'll do our usual rounds of hellos, and we will get into everything. So everyone's just so excited. Oscar's here. Celebrity is in the chat. Steve, Jane, Eddie, Stephen, David, Todd, Peter, Aaron, Manchester Maverick, Sir Greg, Sharif, Bradley, Loss, Nacho, Diamond, who else we got? Jarius, Yassino, Godwin. Let me get my water open. My voice is croaky this morning. Kieran, Mark, Kintu, Jarius, how are we doing? Paul, D3, Daniel, Kintu, good morning. Dan, Gunners, everyone in the chat, good morning and welcome to the stream. So, as some of you have already guessed, my wildcard team is up on stream now. It is not confirmed. I still have a couple of transfers that I need to decide on, a couple of things that I need to decide on. So, yes, this will not be my final wildcard team. I can tell you that for free. There's definitely one transfer I know I'm going to make. I was waiting for potential price changes last night, which did happen. So very happy with that. I can take value out of a player that I'm going to sell, but also a couple of other things in and around my team as well. You tried every flavour of Prime and it's so bad. I do want to try it. Anyone who doesn't know what Prime is, it's the drink done by Logan Paul and KSI, but I do want to try it. So let's get into a few questions for all you early birds in the chat already. Is Rashford going to play? It does not look like it. Looks like Rashford will miss out. Mitrovic to Diego Costa, I definitely wouldn't do. If I need a cheap forward, I'm going for Dominic Solanke. But I would be keeping Mitrovic. For me, still one of the best forwards to own, and I do expect him to play in game week 9. Kane or Son? I still would go Kane. I know it takes up a forward spot, which you might not necessarily have, and then in that case, you can go Son. But if you do have the forward spot free, I think Harry Kane is the one to go with. I know Son did well in game week, in the game week just gone, in game week 8, but it's the first time he's done it that season. I do want to see a little bit more consistency from him before I go and decide exactly who I'm going to be picking from that Spurs team, and if I want to go and get him in. Can you drop Jesus? Yeah, so I've dropped Jesus as part of my wild card. I think he's a fine option if you've still got him and you're holding him, but I think there are potentially other options that I look at that I quite like as well at a cheaper option. So yeah, a couple of things that I quite like elsewhere, and I just don't think Tony's now worth the 8 million you have to pay for him, given he doesn't play in game week 12 as well. Will Diego Costa start his differential? I expect him probably to. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, I wouldn't go buying Diego Costa. He's a similar price to Dominic Solanke, who has really, really good fixtures. So someone already asking my opinion on Dominic Solanke in the chat, and it is one of my potential transfers and changes on my wildcard is Dominic Solanke. So looking at his fixtures, over the next 4 in particular, really nice with 3 home games in there. Then they have away at Tottenham, away at Spurs, Leeds and Everton up until the World Cup. His fixtures between now and the World Cup are really, really strong. Really, really nice. It would be in place of Ivan Toney. And I'll explain why I'm considering doing it in a minute. But over the next 4, Toney has 2 away fixtures, then 2 home fixtures against Brighton, Chelsea. Then it gets easier, but he is $1.5 million more. And I can do a lot with that money if I do decide to sell Ivan Toney from my team. So, my potential transfers, let's get into those that I still need to make on my wildcard. So, I've got Iverson in there. I think I'm probably going to end up with Ward because I do expect Ward to play. And I want to play Ward this week. I don't necessarily need Ward in my team long term, but I do think that he will start this game week. I think he will play on Monday night. And if he doesn't, fair enough. But I'm taking the gamble that Ward starts. Ward starts tonight. Do Bournemouth even have a manager yet? So no. Someone was talking about this on one of the other podcasts I listened to, Above Average FPL, I think, that they haven't had a manager for 4 weeks or something, which seems absolutely crazy that they still haven't found anyone. And even over the international break, they still don't have a manager. It seems absolutely crazy to me that this is the situation that they are in. But anyway, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a better or a worse option. It's just a strange way that they've decided to go, sacking him, and they're just getting no one in his place effectively. Staying with Pope, so no, I will not be staying with Pope. I will be going with Gaeta, but his Pope's price went up last night, which increased my selling value by 0.1. I think I need to refresh because I think his selling value is 5.2. So his selling value went up by 0.1 last night, which is what I was waiting and hoping for. So I can now take the extra 0.1 out of him, and I'm going to be going with Gaeta in goal. Starting Danny Ward this week because Gaeta does have that Chelsea fixture, and then from there on out for this run, I would just be playing Gaeta in goal at 4.5. I don't love him because his bonus points and his save points, his bonus points and his save points are both not very good, but he's 4.5 and he has a really nice run of fixtures. It does mean I have triple Crystal Palace. Now, Gay won't play for me most weeks, but yeah, triple Palace, triple Man City, double Leicester in there as well, double Fulham. Whoever thought I'd be building a wild card that had double Fulham, double Leicester, and triple Crystal Palace. It feels crazy. Thank you all so much for joining already. If you haven't already, please make sure to drop a like on the video. 400 of you in here already, but only 50 likes on the stream. So if you could just like the stream, that would be massively appreciated. And anyone who's new, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. We are so close to getting to 34,000 subscribers, which is the aim for this stream. So help me out. Pascal Gross. I'd be selling Gross probably. I'd be looking to sell generally your Brighton assets at the moment. I don't love them not having Potter. They're a very system-based team, and I don't think their fixtures are good. There's probably 2 in here that you target in Brentford away and Nottingham Forest at home, but even Brentford away is not amazing. So yeah, I don't love that. I think I would be moving away from your Brighton assets, to be honest. Is Solanke worth bringing in for a hit for Isaac? If you're going to need your transfers going forward and it's going to be a hit whenever you do it, then yeah, just get it done. I suppose my question is, who would you play this week if you didn't do it for a hit? And who could you do it for free next week, for example? But it's one of those things you're probably going to need to bring it forward because game week 12 is a blank game week, for example. So you're going to need all the players you can get, and you're not necessarily going to want to, big up or plan transfers a long way in advance. So I'd probably get it done. Ivan from Texas. 3 a.m. in the morning here in Texas. Wow, welcome. Thank you for joining so early. You're still tempted to captain Maddison over Haaland. So I think my opinion on captaining Maddison is I will not put you off it, because I think it's very reasonable to do at home to Nottingham Forest whilst Haaland is at home to Manchester United. I'm not going to do it. For me, Haaland is the number 1 captain this week. If you don't want to captain Haaland and you want to go against him and you want to go with Maddison, I cannot say anything that is going to say don't do it, apart from the ownership that Haaland is going to have again this week. So Yeah. Harry, can you explain your transfer plans for the next few weeks? I definitely will. And actually, that's a big part of why I'm deciding to wildcard into a team that looks like it does. Is Emerson a starter for West Ham? So if you own Emerson, you just keep him. But if you don't have Emerson, don't go buying him. I don't exactly know what's going to happen in that West Ham team. I think he'll play 70% of times, but we saw last week that it's very possible that he just doesn't play. So I would take that into account. I wouldn't go buying him now. Hence why I've gone with Neco Williams in my wildcard. Wildcard or free hit? Please don't free hit. Wildcards are much more valuable now. Free hits are so much more valuable later on in the season. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm a big on when to play my chips, and it helps me a lot later on in the season. Please don't play any chips early on in the season that isn't your wildcard. All of them should be saved. So, am I going to start Ward this week? I am going to start Ward this week. You still have your free transfer with Isaac injured, so I get a striker or Bowen to Maddison. I'd keep Bowen this week because Wolves at home is a good fixture. Like, Bowen has not looked good. West Ham have not looked good. But I would rather sell Isaac. Some of the Isaac replacements, like Tony Solanke, both have good fixtures playing against each other this week. There should be goals in that game. So, I know I'm going to go with Gaeta. I'm not going with Pope. I'm not doubling up on Newcastle defence. Given that their next 5 fixtures, you may get max 2 clean sheets out of the next 5. So I am going in with this. So let me just confirm those two. Pope to Gaeta and Danny Ward in there as well. Take the money out of Pope. Given that he rose in price last night, we switch Danny Ward and we start him currently. So this is where we're at the moment. We probably want to switch those as well. So this is where we're at. Still a couple of things that I'm undecided on, and we'll go through those in a minute. But let's do a couple more of your questions as well while we're here. Should I sell Cucurella or Trippier for a -4 for James? I wouldn't do Cucurella to James for -4 this week, but I would do it next week. This week, I'm not necessarily set on a clean sheet. So yeah. But from next week, you definitely want him. Why Grahey? Why not Justin? So why have I gone with the cheap options that I had? So I had James Justin in here over Neco Williams in a lot of my drafts. But then I was like, I'm not going to play Neco Williams in any week that isn't game week 12. And James Justin had a good fixture that week. I think they've got Palace at home. Sorry, Leeds at home in game week 12 is fine, but you would expect Leeds to score in practically any game. And if, I don't necessarily think he's going to keep a clean sheet that week, let me just take the 0.2 million out of him and I'll just start with Neco Williams and just sit him third on my bench. Brighton away is an okay fixture as well. It's not like I'm going for my voice is so croaky this morning. Needs to be quieter, like this. Sorry if it's annoying to listen to on audio. I don't know what's happening. Let me mute myself quickly. Let's see if that's improved. But yeah, this is where I'm at. To talk, is Walker playing? Walker is back in training. Walker's fit. I think he should be playing. Do you play Ward instead of Pope? I would, personally. I would be playing Ward this week over Pope. I'm playing him over Gaeta. All of these things I would be doing. I know it's not ideal, but if you're ever going to play him, then yeah, I'd be playing Ward this week. And then you just don't have to look at him because he will probably get dropped at some point. But start Tsimikas over Trippier. You already have Pope. Definitely. If you've got Tsimikas, although he's a very short-term pick, I would be starting him this week. Yeah. I would be starting Tsimikas this week. Definitely. Brighton at home. It's the fixture that you own a lot of these Liverpool assets for at the moment. Will Fofana start for Chelsea? Yes, I think he would. I won't be buying him because I'm not certain. But if you own him, I think he will start today. This weekend. Today. Ward or Iverson. If you ever think you're going to need... I think Ward will still play for the time being. It's basically my answer. Do you need them? If you don't need them, go Iverson. And if you don't need them short term, go Iverson because Iverson may gain his place back in 3 weeks. But I think Ward will start against Forest if you need them for Forest. Have I heard the rumours of Iverson starting? I mean, it could happen. I don't really mind, to be honest, because I'll just play Gaita every week. It's only this week, and even a home fixture for Palace against Chelsea is okay. I would then end up having 3 players in that game, which I don't love, but yeah, like I'm not that bothered. I think Ward will play today, this weekend, or on Monday when it is, so that's why I've gone with him. Pinocchio, morning. Thank you for joining as a member, by the way. I added you to the Twitter group chat this morning as well, so go and say hello if you haven't already. Do I take a -4 to get Maddison or save my transfer for next week and wildcard game week 11? So what I would say is wildcard game week 11 doesn't really work. If you're not wildcarding this week, I did put a little short YouTube video out on this. If you're not wildcarding this week, game week 13 is the next time to wildcard. I wouldn't be wildcarding game week 11. So if that changes your transfer plans, then absolutely fine. Potentially that means you might want Maddison in if you're going to have to hold him or that reason. But yeah, I would go Maddison as soon as possible, I think. You want to play Emerson over Trippier? Are you mad? No. You just run the risk that Emerson doesn't start again. But if you look at his fixture, Wolves at home, like this is the game that you really want him for. So yeah. Your reasons for picking Gaita and not Pope, Sarr, Pickford or Raya. Sorry, thank you, Nick, for the super chat as well. So Sarr is slightly more expensive. Pickford, I don't like Everton's fixtures, and the same for Raya as well, basically. It's basically a fixtures thing. I just like my goalkeeper to have good fixtures every week. No, this is not my final lineup. How much does this leave you in the bank for future transfers? So let me go through my future transfer plans. Again, if you haven't already, just before we do that, make sure you have, like the video and you are subscribed. We are 100 subscribers away from our target for today. Let me end this captaincy poll because that's not exactly what you want to look at all the time. Omar, good morning. Yeah, just before we do, if you guys are not familiar, we have 2 membership tiers. You see a lot of those members with the badges in the chat. Tier 1 gets you all the perks in the stream, like all the emojis, plus you get priority comments. And then Tier 2, you also get access to that Twitter group chat with myself, all the other Tier 2 members as well, where we discuss, we chat. You see my team and my thoughts all throughout the week, not just in a video as well. But let's go into my transfer plans. Before we do that, Linus, you've almost same wildcard, but Salah instead of De Bruyne and Trent instead of Zaha at the moment. Trent Zaha is difficult for me. From next week, I think we really want Zaha. Now, I'd rather drop Martinelli than drop Zaha for the time being. You might lose value in him, but no chance I'd go without Zaha. So let me get, where is it? FPL.team up. So let me load my wildcard in quickly. Guaita in goal. Then we have Maddison in midfield. Then we also have Zaha in midfield. And then I think that's almost it. I need to do my defenders. Let me just load this in and I'll talk you all through my future transfer plans and why I've picked this wildcard. So at the moment it's Ivan Toney in here. Oh, no, it's not. It is Mitrovic. Stephen Lau, thank you very much for subscribing. Cool. So who else do we need to change? Trent into Julius. Again, thank you. Sinistera punt on wildcard over Martinelli. Yeah, it's fine. Punting over Martinelli, I think, is absolutely doable. I I very considered doing it. I just don't like the value that I lose as a result, basically. And then finally, Grahey in here. Cool. So, my transfer plans. Effectively, my plan is game week 12. Salah captain 2. If you've got Salah, for me, I'd captain him. If you've got Salah, for me, he's captaincy material this week over Haaland with the fixture. So, let's make it look a little bit more like what I'm actually going to line up with. I'll just leave Patterson in there, it's fine. So, my plan is I will do De Bruyne out to Mo Salah game week 12. And I think that's quite a sensible transfer. I think it's a transfer a lot of people will consider making. And I think I will also do Trippier after after game week 12 to Trent. Or game week 12 as well. It could also happen. But what you'll notice when I do those two transfers is I'm left with 1.1 million short. So I will need at some point to free up some money to do this. Those are my two planned transfers for game week 12, but I will have to free up money to do that. The obvious place for me to free up money is to go Tony to Solanke. That feels like the obvious place for me to free up the money. Leaves me a little 0.4 as well. I've got the flexibility. There's no chance I get out. I get priced out of it as well. That's the plan. So my question is, do I just start with Solanke and save myself the transfer? Do I just start with Solanke in my team, given that he has Brentford, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton at home in the next 4? And if it doesn't work out, then fine, I can reevaluate. But at least I know I've got the money to go and get Salah and Trent in my team. So if that made sense to everyone, let me know in the comments. Would you start with Solanke, or would you start with Tony and then have to do the transfer downgrade? The only caveat is if I decide that if I start with Tony and I decide that he's not the one I want to get rid of, then that's absolutely fine, and I can just go, yeah, fine, I'm going to keep Tony and I'll downgrade Mitrovic, for example. It gives me the option if Tony continues to do really well. So that's the sort of dilemma that I've got at the moment. You all saying you'd start with Tony. Yeah, like Tony's better out of the two, but it means I'm just booking in a transfer. And given that Tony plays, he's not on this one anymore. Tony plays against like Bournemouth away, Newcastle away, then like Brighton at home, Chelsea at home. Those are not ideal fixtures. Keep Tony. Why not KDB to Salah on this wildcard? Because I fancy KDB over the next two fixtures. I fancy De Bruyne over the next two. Tony, you'd sell Mitrovic. I'm interested that people want me to sell Mitrovic. You're not the first person that said that to me either. Newcastle, West Ham, Bournemouth, Villa, Leeds, Everton. I have absolutely no chance I'm selling Mitrovic. So, Solanke straight away, no. Don't want to book yourself a transfer. That's my thinking at the moment. And then the only other transfer decision that I've got to make. So I've basically got to decide, do I want to start with Tony and also just go straight to Solanke? And do I want to have Cancelo or Trent in my wildcard? These are the two decisions I've got to make. So Cancelo or Trent, and do I want to go Tony or Solanke up front? KDB to Salah, I fancy De Bruyne over the next two. I also plan on doing De Bruyne to Son for game week 11 before going to Salah. When there's Liverpool, Manchester City, Son has Everton at home. That's the plan. Captaincy is on Erling Haaland. No chance it moves off of him. Love the stream. So Salah captain over Erling. If I had him, I probably would put my armband on Salah this week. I think it's an opportunity to gamble. Haaland's not going to score double digits in every game this season. It's not going to happen. So if I had the opportunity to this week, I probably might. But I like De Bruyne for that Southampton at home fixture particularly. Sufal over Trippier. I don't love Trippier in my team, in all honesty. I don't love Trippier in my team, in all honesty, because the fixtures are not that great. Right, but I am owning him for the attacking threat that he has as well, basically. He'll go in game week 13, I think. I think he'll go for these four. It will be Trent or Cancelo who comes in, basically whichever one I don't start with. So yeah. Please post your final team on Twitter before the deadline. But just stick around and watch the stream and I will have my final team on stream for you. So don't worry about that. If you haven't already, again, a quick reminder, like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are like 100 subscribers away from 34,000, so we are aiming for that during this stream as well. Should you start Mings? Who have Villa got? I mean, I don't know who you'd be benching. I think it's a fine fixture. Then they play Leeds away. Like, if you've got other players, I'd rather play them. Like, I'd probably play Andreas Pereira over Mings. Harry, you've got 10 by 11 up on screen. You don't have Maddison, you have Bowen. I would be looking to do the Bowen to Maddison transfer. I think people who went Bowen last week on Wildcard need to rectify a little bit because they don't look good enough. I'm croaky again. What's my plans for game week 12? Yeah, so De Bruyne will make way for Salah, and then I will bench Haaland, Tony, Cancelo. Basically, this is not my final team. No, this is not my final team. Do I start Bailey, Andreas, or Perisic? I probably would. To be honest, I'd probably play Perisic. I don't love Andreas or Bailey consistently, so I'd probably go Perisic just because we know what he's capable of doing. What are my plans for the goalkeeper? I'm going to go Gaeta, and I will bench him this week, and then I'll start him every week. What is happening? Maddison and Iheanacho, or Barnes and Antonio? Neither. Maddison is better than all of those, and I don't want any of the other three options. Iheanacho, Antonio up front is a big no-go. Just go down to Slanky then if you're going with Iheanacho or Antonio. Is it worth going with one premium because you can get Salah back by game week 12 with 3 moves, no hits? If you're happy just to captain Haaland every week, then that's absolutely fine. The reason you need a second premium for me is for captaincy. But if we're at the point where you're happy to just captain Haaland every single week, then that is absolutely fine. Is Isaac injury long term? It doesn't sound like it. So for those of you with Isaac, I'd probably say he misses 2 games. Is probably my prediction of where we're at given the press conference quotes that we had yesterday. So have a look at how you think your team lines up. I think there's enough other good forwards over the next 2 weeks that I would sell him. Andres Pereira or Almiron. If I had Almiron, I'd play him, but I wouldn't be buying him. If I was buying one, I'd just go for the cheap option in Andreas. Captain Kane or Maddison? Maddison out of the 2 there. My ranking probably goes Salah, Haaland, Maddison. In that order as my top 3. Would I captain Tony? Could score a few against Bournemouth. He could. Bournemouth have been quite good so far this season, and I'm considering not going with Tony if I'm in all honesty. I'm considering going without him, to be completely honest. I just don't love the next 4 for him. I know Bournemouth is good, right? And he could do a lot in this fixture. But Solanke's fixtures it allows me to do the transfers I want and not have to book a transfer in. I just hate booking transfers in straight after a wildcard. Well, not straight after a wildcard, but between now and game week 12, I only have 3 transfers and I know every single one of them I'm going to make. It would be Tony to Solanke, it would be Trippier to Trent, and it would be De Bruyne to Salah. And if something else happens, I'm in -4 territory. So I think I might just go Solanke. If the deadline was in 5 minutes, I'd go Solanke. If the deadline was in 5 minutes, I would wildcard this team. Morning, Rory. How are we doing? That badge is upgrading nicely. That badge colour. Up to blue. Love it. What about captaining Maddison? Yeah, so if you've got Maddison in your team and you don't want to captain Haaland, for me, he is a really, really nice alternative option. I will captain Haaland, but I don't think he's a bad option. Tom Brookhouse, how are we doing? Thoughts on Sterling? For me, 10 million just feels a lot when we have 7, 8, 9 million options I expect to match him. I don't think he'll do badly, even playing on that left wing that we saw in the Champions League. I think he'll still do well, but I think it's too much to invest. I would rather just go Maddison, Zaha, even Luis Diaz, and just save the money. I just don't think he's worth the price. How many in your wildcard are locked in now? I would say the only players not locked in are Trippier, Cancelo, and Tony. Are the only 3 that could potentially change when it was Tony or Solanke. So this is it. Cancelo, Trippier, and Tony. So it's not locked in. The reason it's not locked in, and Trippier, for example, is not locked in, is if I go with Solanke over Let me just put these back in. Trippier in here. If I go with Solanke over Tony, I can just go. I could do Trippier to Trent right today, and I wouldn't even have to wait for that transfer to happen. I could go Trippier to Trent. Trippier, Brentford at home. Do I think he keeps a clean sheet there, basically? Because Everton at home is fine, because I'd have Trent for that fixture anyway, like West Ham at home. So that's fine. Super fun Alex was asking questions. So, when am I thinking of Trent? It will be game week 13 at the latest. If I go Solanke over Tony, I'm sat with 3 million in the bank, and I'm a bit like, oh, why don't I just do Trippier to Trent and do this, and just start with my wild card looking like that. So, Solanke or Jesus? Solanke probably. KDB and Tony, or Foden and Kane? De Bruyne and Tony. De Bruyne and Tony. Start 1, Perisic, Walker, Peters and Paqueta. I'd probably play Paqueta. It's a really nice fixture for them. What do I think about St. Maximin? If he's back fit, I don't love it as well. He's just not consistent enough for me to be an FPL asset. I know I considered him a few weeks ago, but yeah. Do I think St. Maximin will start? Yes. I can't remember what was said in the press conference, actually. Let me have a look at St. Maximin. Late calls. That's never a good sign, actually. So no. Thanks, Nuclear. If you sell Tony next week, you'll probably get 0.1 more profit. Will I? What's my selling value like on him? Do I get 0.1 if he rises? No. I don't. He's got to rise twice, which is not going to happen. So again, I've got nothing to gain really value-wise holding Tony as well. So you think Gundogan will start? What was in the predicted lineups? I would probably say Bernardo Silva will start, but Bernardo Silva could go out wide. So yeah, why not? Will Aubameyang start today? I think probably, but I definitely wouldn't be buying him. North London derby predictions. Put yours in the chat as well. I'm going to go... It's at Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. I feel like whenever anyone asks me a prediction, I predict 2-1 either way, and it's really boring, and it never turns out to be that. But Saliba, so I sold him on my wild card. Their fixtures going forward are not good enough. I know he scored and got me 15 points last week, which was amazing. But no, I brought Tony for 7.1. I brought him before he scored his hat-trick. So I got him for 7-1. 2-1 Spurs. Pitch view, let me go back here. 2-1 Spurs. Perisic brace, love it. Bailey or Martinelli. If you've got Martinelli, play him. There is normally goals in the North London derby, so I would be starting him. 3-1 Spurs. Brandon, do us a favour and start Ward. Yeah, Brendan even. Yeah, please do. A lot of us starting him. Play Gross or Andreas. I'd play Gross if I had him there, but I don't love either of those options. I'd probably be looking to move Gross on and starting his replacement. Isaac to Solanke or roll. I'd do it. Get Zaha next week without -4. Start Perisic this week. I do Isaac to Solanke for free. 3-1 Arsenal. I back an Arsenal win, but always the home teams win those North London derbies. Jesus to Tony for free. So I'm considering selling Tony to go and get Solanke. So make of that what you will. I don't dislike Tony as an option, but I need the money elsewhere in my team. So Kane getting his annual penalty is true every year. Why have I sold Justin? I went to Neco Williams because I didn't really need the money invested in him when I'm going to play him in one game week, which is game week 12. So just I may as well start with Neco Williams in my team. What do I think Fofana for Guehi? There is a slight doubt in my mind that Fofana doesn't start. Guehi has really nice fixtures. I don't need him for any fixture apart from game week 12. And it is Wolves at home. like the perfect fixture. Whereas Fofana, game week 12, away at Brentford. Much prefer Gray for that fixture. De Bruyne to Maddison. I mean, I've got both. I wouldn't be selling De Bruyne to Maddison. I wouldn't do that if you're in that boat. Jesus to Solanke for -4. No. -4 to bring in Solanke feels so wrong. For free only. It's a luxury transfer. I know you might want the money elsewhere, but Jesus to Solanke is, no. It's just those 3 home fixtures. 3 home fixtures for them. And it just saves me booking in a transfer. Jesus for Mitrovic or keep him. For free, I'd probably do it, but not for a hit. It's the same with a lot of transfers this week. I wouldn't do -4s for anyone really that isn't injured. Chilwell over James. So a lot of people on Twitter discussing going with Chilwell this week, and I'm not quite sure why, because I know Cucurella's out, but it doesn't mean that Chilwell's going to play, because Cucurella played like left centre-back against in the Champions League in the new Potter system, which Chilwell I'd be surprised if Chilwell plays that role. Chilwell doesn't really fit the new system. I think it'll be Koulibaly, for example, that comes in for him. I don't even think Chilwell's going to start. So it just makes no sense to me to go for Chilwell as a punt when James is like right there playing right wing, basically. So what if Diego Costa hits form even when Broja starts? Then you'll be stubbornly stuck with Solanke. But if that happens, then I can move sideways. That's fine. But if it doesn't happen, I'm going to have to make the transfer. Tony for Isaac for a hit. That's tough because I don't like Isaac and I don't like having injured players in my team, but it's not that much else I'd want to do. I don't know who else you're going to play. My instant reaction was I don't like the idea of Isaac even out for a hit. If it benefits your team in the long run, fine. But I'm considering selling Tony. So bringing him in for a -4 is not exactly what I want. So quotes from Rogers on Ward. The spotlight will be on him. I repeat, defending is collective. It's from strikers through to goalkeepers. As a team, we need to defend better. I'm pretty sure Danny will find a higher level and more consistent level. Like the team, it's been a challenging start for him. He's made some really good saves in games, but naturally, and then the spotlight will be on him. Basically, I read into that Danny Ward's going to start again. I read into that Danny Ward is going to start again. I can get that up for you as well. Where was it shared? Cool. Let me pull these tweets up for you, and we can have a look. We can have a look at exactly what was said. Cool. So, Rogers. So we start with this one. So on Danny Ward, like the team, it's been a challenging start for him. He's made some really good saves in games, but naturally, the spotlight will be on him. I repeat, defending is collective. It's from the strikers to the goalkeepers. As a team, we need to defend better. I'm pretty sure Danny will find a higher level and more consistent level. For me, he starts after that. Weird thing to say if you're going to bench him. Sebastian, thank you very much for the super chat. Your wildcard team is similar, but you went for Trent and Salah. Don't have Trippier and KDB. Your thoughts? Basically, those are my planned transfers in a couple of weeks. I just think that I can get enough points out of Trippier and De Bruyne over the next couple to avoid doing it. Basically. Emerson over Neco Williams. Emerson's not nailed. We saw that in the last game. And in game week 12, the only week that you're going to need Emerson. Game week 12, you've got to look at these game week 12 fixtures. The only week you're going to need Emerson is Liverpool away, right? Whereas Forest have Brighton away. So, any news about Aubameyang? Nothing. Gaeta Fabianski is an interesting pair for those on Wildcard. So I did post the rotation planner between the two, and it is amazing. The rotation between Fabianski, Gahey is like so good, but it's a lot of money to spend. So you do end up playing like in theory, you could play the same goalkeeper 6 out of the 8 weeks. So, yeah, it doesn't work out as being value for money, in my opinion. Given that Fabianski's 5 as well, 5.5 million is a lot. Thoughts on Rodrigo? He is back in training. What are the Leeds fixtures like? Where am I going to get that? Fixtures. So yeah, I'm yet to confirm my wildcard, and I will confirm it later on in the stream. We need FDR. People are shouting Leeds options at me. And I haven't looked at their fixtures. Villa, Palace, Arsenal, Leicester, Fulham. It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. I don't mind it. Rodrigo could easily do well here if he is definitely going to start, but he looks like he's back in training. Soufal or Odegaard? Probably Soufal. Kyle Walker-Peters or Trippier, any Perisic replacements. For me, the defenders you want to be getting in now, Cancelo, James, Trent, and then go down to the likes of Guehi and those around there. So I don't know what kind of where he fits into your team, but that's the sort of structure and the defenders I'd be looking at. Perisic or James for just this week, James? Thoughts on Pope and Trippier double up? It's absolutely fine. If you're on wildcard, like me, I'm not going for the Pope Trippier double up. Because I think you can easily bet against them with their upcoming fixtures. My points last week, glad you asked. 71. Smashed it. Went from 110k to 110k to 35k without a wild card. Saliba, 15-pointer. Patterson, 6-pointer. These guys, the big defence just came in clutch, and I transferred in De Bruyne for Salah. So all in all, it was a pretty productive game week for me. And then like Saliba rose in price, which meant I got more money out of him. Yeah, it was a very good game week for me. Very, very happy with it. 599, 600k game week rank as well. Very, very pleased with that. Thoughts on Solanke? He may well end up in my wildcard, if I'm honest. I may well do Tony to Solanke. Thoughts on the Fulham goalkeeper Leno on wildcard? Their fixtures are not quite good enough. I did consider one of their defenders instead of Guehi, but their fixtures are not good enough given how they're performing. 5.5 million in the bank. Get KDB or Son. I get De Bruyne for the next 2, then potentially move to Son for his Everton at home fixture whilst De Bruyne plays Liverpool. Is Tsimikas worth it? He should start. This week. Martinelli for Rodrigo, Harry. I just have so much value tied up in him. Ooh, stop it with the flexing. Love it. Yeah, thanks, Nuclear. I got so much value tied up in him. I lose 0.3. He might drop in price once, but I know I want him game week 13, and to lose 0.2 million, I don't... Like, to buy him back at 6.5 feels not the best. Who could I get? I basically have 6.9 for him, given my transfer plans. Let's go 7.3, but Rashford, Rodrigo. I mean, the one I do look at is, could I get Barnes? 6.9. But the people buying Barnes for the next 4, like, you can see why people are going Barnes for the next 4. Forest, Bournemouth, Palace, Leeds, all at home. If he does well, he'll rise in price as well. Martinelli will drop. Sinistera. Do I go like really maverick on my wildcard? Do I go completely points chasing and go like this? Is this like way too out there? Am I being ridiculous with this as my wildcard? And then at least 2.9 in the bank, and I could just do Trippier to Trent and go completely against Fulham. Hope they don't keep a clean sheet in the next 3. Bruno Guimaraes is back is the only thing. Bruno Guimaraes is back. What I do want to have a look at is predicted points over the next 4 for defenders. This is the Fantasy Football Scout members area. Give me 1 sec. If you do want to sign up, there's a link in the description. So Trent, 5.2, 3.2, 3.1, 5.3. Trippier, 3.7. I don't know what that adds up to be. He outscores by 1. Trent is predicted to outscore over the next 4. Trippier. It's just Trent is massively over-egged for this time. But I could just go straight to Trent, right? Would you guys... Let me know what you think. Sorry, I am monologuing. I mean, I know monologuing is part of what you do in a stream. I don't anyone to tell me that I need to be quiet again, like last time. But yeah. A few changes that I could potentially make. Leaves 0.7 in the bank, which is just like De Bruyne to Salah when I want to do it. So, Rodrigo for Martinelli, what do I think? I don't dislike it that much. Barnes just hasn't done anything. Could easily be a fire, but the fixtures are so nice. Triple Leicester on my wildcard. Has he done anything? Scored once. Got a half-time sub in game week 6. Played 19 most of the others though. You put 4 in defence, but you're not sure that it's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with the back 4. I almost did it. You like it? Go with your new team. New team or old team? What would you go with? Wildcard active, should you keep Trent? Yeah. Yeah, I quite like Trent. The predicted points here are really good for Trent as well. Thank you all for joining. Again, like and subscribe would be massively appreciated. Massively appreciated. We are chasing 34k subscribers during this live stream as well. Wildcard is active, just trying to finalise decisions. It is backing Trent to go big today. Does mean I'll have to play him in game week 11. Is the only thing. I'll have 3 options in that game. Double defence, which is not ideal. But game week 11 is when Trippier plays Manchester United anyway, so I don't really want him in that fixture anyway. Old, new team. Trent will explode this game week, given Southgate's comments over the international break. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Old team. And Cuckoo to Chelsea does look like it could possibly happen. Those asking if I'm joining the new FIFA, I am. I packed Kevin De Bruyne last night as well, and Dominic Solanke, both of which were then locked into my wildcard as a result. But yeah, the Kevin De Bruyne pack I was very happy with it. Loved it. White Gray here over Justin. Their fixtures are really nice. I only need him for game week 12, and that week he has Wolves at home. Best game week 12 budget defender option, definitely Guehi. That Wolves at home fixture is really good. Thoughts on Fabianski? I really like Fabianski. It's just 5 million is slightly too much for me to pay on a defence that I don't trust. If he was 4.5 or like probably 4.8, he'd be in. 4.8, he'd be in. Change your mind, old. I think I'm going to go with the new one. What would that look like? Would look like this, but I would have Martinelli to Barnes. And actually, if I did this, it would mean I wouldn't even have to play Andreas Pereira in game week 12. Because when game week 12 rolls around, I'd have Salah in there. I'd bench Haaland for Guehi. Or maybe I would. And then I'd have to bench you for Yeah, Andreas. I wouldn't even have to play Necker Williams, who is instead of Patterson, because I'll have Salah in there. And then my team for that week starts to look really good. Isn't Tony on free kicks as well? Yeah, but he's not going to score a screamer every week. Look what you packed on Discord. I'll have a look afterwards. Tipping Podence this week, deliver returns. I can't back that Wolves team. They have not looked good enough so far this season. Morning, bro. You officially changed Pope over to Gaeta. I have officially done that. I haven't done anything else. Yet. I'm considering selling 3 players that I've got a lot of value tied up in, which is worrying me a little bit, but predicted points favour Trent. They favour max price 7. They favour Barnes over the next 4. Because he doesn't play. There's not that much in the Barnes versus... He just has 3 really nice fixtures. The upside is there. So what upside mean is the chance of them like exploding is there. He's not just going to tick along. And then forwards. Like Solanke. Oh, I'd have Tony in here. Fine. Tony does outdo Solanke, but not by loads. Over the next 4. This is the new team. And this is the old team. So, do I go Trent over Trippier? Do I go Solanke over Tony? And do I go Barnes over Martinelli? Tony or Solanke for Jesus for free? I'd just go Solanke if it's me. That's the way I'm thinking at the moment anyway. That's the way my current thinking is. Which Leeds attacker would I go for? I probably would go with Sinistera because I just don't know where Rodrigo's going to come back in. Luke in the chat said Rodrigo. It's very close. Rodrigo was so good before he got injured. Looks like he's back fit. But Bamford is back now as well, which was different to before. Yeah, get liking. 700 of you in here and only 200 likes on the stream. I appreciate it. And if you are new, please do subscribe. Closing in on 34k subscribers. Closing in. Old team. Why is Solanke a big deal? Because Bournemouth have been much better than expected. His fixtures are really good. So Brentford, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton. And then I can reevaluate for 13 if I want to move him to another cheap forward or go for a defender or something like that. But his fixture's really nice. And basically he's an enabler, right? A lot of us looking at slightly more expensive options. Like we don't have that 5 million midfielder in our teams anymore. So we're having to find ways to cut back on costs and to cut back on money. So it allows us to do that. Hello, Harry. You don't recommend to go with the new team. It's really risky. It is risky. It is. That is a very good point. And that's not how I play FPL. Start Iverson over Pope with a slim chance he starts against Forest. I probably would. I don't think Iverson will start. I think it will be Pope. Oh, come on, Barnes now. He basically relies on the team and can be taken off at half time. Let's get Sinistera instead. Yeah, but like, do I go against Martinelli, basically, is the question. He is predicted, but that's over the next 6, and he's massively weighted up there. So, who else is up here? Like, Barnes does okay for the next 4. And then I can move to Martinelli for 13. Not worried about missing Tony against Bournemouth. A little bit, but after that the fixtures aren't as good. And they are good for Solanke. And it allows me to get Trent in. And it allows me to then get Salah in as well. Old team is clear. Go for it. it has two risks in, right? It has Barnes and Solanke. I suppose no Newcastle defence, but James, Cancelo, Trent versus Newcastle defence, like that's fine to me. Barnes and Solanke over Toney and Martinelli, yeah, that's a risk. That is a risk. But the Toney option allows me to go and get Trent in, right? You'd keep Martinelli. That's fair. Like this one is a balancing act. It's the middle ground between the two. It's a middle ground between the two. So maybe I'd do something like that, and I find somewhere in the middle that I'm happy with like this. So Gundogan and Jesus out for Maddison and Toney. Yeah, I like those moves. Again, like, do you need Toney? If you can go Solanke, but any news from Paul O'Keefe? So, I mean, he has predicted his lineup, but I was just listening to Planet FPL James' stream last night, and basically he thinks that team that he's put up is like a ruse. He's got Perisic back at right wing back, and he was awful there. And Emerson is fully fit, and he's played really well. So I wouldn't read too much into that lineup. Will Fofana start for Chelsea? I think he will, yeah. Justin or Guehi? I'd go Guehi. He does have good attacking threat from corners. Justin is just conceding a lot of goals at the moment. You sure Ward start, not Iverson? Yeah, so these quotes came out this morning, it seems. They were part of the embargoed press conference about it, and this is what they've said. This is what they've said. Hold Paqueta or free transfer to Sinistera or Gordon. Don't go buying Gordon, but I would potentially look at Sinistera. But yeah, this is what was said. This was what was said. Through the last few days, sorry, that's the second bit. Like the team, it's been a challenging start for him. He's made some really good saves in games, but naturally, the spotlight will be on him. I repeat, defending is a collective. It's from the strikers through to the goalkeeper. As a team, we need to defend better. I'm pretty sure Danny will find a higher level and more consistent level. If you read that and don't think Ward's going to start, I think we're reading different things. So, I think he'll start. I think he will start. How about you keep Martinelli and then take Toney Solanke out and replace him with a 4.5 and get Trippier in defence? Like, I could do that and upgrade Neco Williams, but I know that a back four is not the team structure I really want. I could go Solanke down, but would you go Solanke or Trippier? I think you go Solanke. Basically the same price as well for the next four. Those three home games, Brentford, Leicester, Southampton at home, is so good. It's so nice. For those asking in the chat, again, I am not locked in. Wildcard decision still to be made. Make sure you've liked the stream as well. Subscribe if you have not already. Still got an hour until the deadline. I'm also going to add like a little... You see where it's got Wildcard active? I'm going to change that and put a countdown timer, I think, to the deadline. Just little things. And I'm going to change the way the chat looks as well. But I didn't have time. Zaha or Perisic this week? I'd still start Zaha. If you've got Zaha, you've got to play him this week. Even against Chelsea. It's at home. We'll play Pickford or Ward. Who do Everton have? Pickford. You're 2.5k overall rank, but this wildcard has got you scrambling. It's got you scrambled. 2.5k overall is a crazy good rank for this point in the season. Well done. You're set on Barnes and Maddison. Let's see if anyone else... I know there are others like Andy on Wildcard, for example. Let's have a look what other people are saying in their teams. Sophie Claire, thank you very much for joining as a VC member. I appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Emojis, key questions answered, all in the chat. I appreciate it. You keep scripting your questions. I don't do it on purpose. Martinelli to Rodrigo of Leeds. I don't hate it at all. There is a chance to back against Martinelli over the next few weeks. The countdown timer would help. Sure. Will you play Trent against Arsenal and City? Yeah, I would, which is the only thing. Trent in those 2 games is not ideal. And Trippier... But Trippier has, Brentford at home, Man United away. But over the next 3, who do you think will score more, Trent or Trippier? Fulham away, I don't think there'll be a Newcastle clean sheet, personally. And I might end up being wrong on that, and it'll bite me, and they'll keep 2 clean sheets in the next 2. But then they got United, and then Everton. And Everton is when you want your Liverpool assets in anyway. Ward or Raya this week, I would... Brentford have Bournemouth. I'd probably play Raya there. No, I'd play Ward. There's going to be goals in that game. Game week 13 onwards, you want 4 or 5 at the back. I'm not sure I agree. Because you'll still want, Maddison. Maybe Maddison becomes expendable. Game week 13. Maybe Maddison to Martinelli is what happens. Tony or Solanke, with the emojis, exactly. Salah gang, where you at? Yeah, those of you with Salah, I am jealous, but I just want De Bruyne for that Southampton game. Would I not do Pope and Trent then? What, Pope in goal? I can't afford it, really. It is possible that I don't go... What would that team look like? I know someone mentioned it in the chat. I drop you and I go with Trippier. And I can do the money now, but I need to sell Martinelli to... And he's not showing his. Fair. I love it. And then I could just not go Martinelli, and then I could do Maddison to Martinelli in 13 when Leicester go away to Wolves, City away to Everton, away to West Ham. Maybe that's the play. And then I could just get anyone in here and just bank the money. I'm scrambling on my wildcard if you can't see. Always leave it to the last minute. Sterling and Son or De Bruyne and Sterling. So basically De Bruyne versus Son. I'd go De Bruyne. That leaves 1.8 mil in the bank. Could I get... I could get Tony back. Ditch Martinelli. This is becoming interesting. My wild card is not confirmed. It is far from confirmed. And I need to... now I can do Tony over Solanke. Exactly, Luke. Maddison to Martinelli, game week 13, feels like it could work. Keep Martinelli. He might get something today. Yeah, he might, but equally he might not. Helpful comments, I know. You're thinking about maybe Paqueta in. I wouldn't go Paqueta. I'm just not buying into that West Ham team at all at the moment. Would I start Bailey or Perisic? Probably Perisic. Simicast or Diaz? Diaz. Start Pope or Ward. I lose 0.3, yeah, but Maddison will rise and Martinelli will drop between now and then, so it won't be as much. It won't be as much. It could work. Definitely could work. I regret ditching Martinelli. What does this make my team look like for the upcoming weeks? Thoughts on Ollie Watkins? It's just a little bit too expensive given the way Villa are performing this season. I know a few people have spoken about him. Sorry, let me just get this up. And I will start planning ahead again. Soufal, yeah, he's just a little bit too expensive for I think what he's going to offer with the other options that we've got at the moment forward. I don't dislike Solanke loads, but yeah, I think it's just too much. I'd just go Tony, I'd go Solanke, I'd go Mitrovic all over him, I think. So if I ditch you and I go Leon Bailey. I ditch Saliba and I go with James. On Wildcard, think about Ward and Iverson to then better your rest of the team. I don't particularly get on board with it because they're just not good defensively. As I was saying, it's a really weird frame of mind to be in because you basically want Rodgers to get sacked. And for Rodgers to get sacked, you need your goalkeepers to concede goals. So you're basically like, for the next 2 games, I want you to do really badly so that Rodgers gets sacked and they get better. But their next best games are over the next couple of weeks. So I can't get behind it, basically. So this is what it would... No, meets Richard now. This is what it would look like. So Trent in, we would have Zaha in and Maddison in. Salah or De Bruyne, start Bailey or Bernardo. So this is what it would look like. Game week 10. Absolutely fine once again. Very happy with that. Brentford at home but Trippier against Tony. This is part of the reason I'm thinking about dropping Trippier. Because he just plays against my attackers every week. But then game week 11. Fine. I will do De Bruyne to Son. De Bruyne to Son. Also fine. I've just got Cancelo and Trent against each other there, which is not quite ideal. And it's when Arsenal go away to Leeds. You probably want... The defence doesn't look strong for that week. And no Martinelli away at Leeds means I'm going to lose points that week. But I will have Son. So game week 12 then rolls around. I would start like Bailey there. And I would start Andreas there. And I would do Son to Salah. Odegaard or Perisic, I would start Perisic this week. If you've got him, I play him. Zaha or Tony. If I could only own one, I'd probably own Zaha going forward. Is Kane worth it considering the other striker options? Probably not worth it given the value that he is at the moment. What about Bazunu over Guaita and Wildcard? Southampton have some good fixtures till game week 12, but I need him between now and the World Cup. And Southampton have not looked great defensively. Thank you all for the new joiners as well. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. We need 15 subscribers for our target for today. There must be 15 of you in here as well that are not subscribed. We've also hit 300 likes on the stream. I appreciate it. I am doing my best to reply as much as possible whilst also trying to finalise my wildcard. So, what have we decided? I don't know what we decided. As Isaac confirmed, ruled out, yeah. Don't forget Patterson, yeah, that'll be Guehi. That'll be Guehi. Oh yeah, it'll be Guehi, so it will look like that because it'll be Guehi in here. Won't even have to play. Like I could just not bother with Bailey and just go 4.3 because I don't need him at all. I'm 0.6 short of this team. Oh, but this is the thing. I then have to downgrade Tony anyway to free up the money to get this team. Like, the amount of money, I just have to downgrade Tony. So Tony to Solanke just feels like nailed. So although I can do it this week, I just need to start with Solanke. I just don't want to be booking that transfer in. So I just don't want to be booking that transfer in. That is, I'm pretty certain I'm going to do that. And then basically, I've got one too many starters in my... Well, yeah, basically I have to decide what I want to do. Do I want Martinelli? Do I want Trippier? Or do I want Trent? And I have to ditch one of those three. Get De Silva. Anyone who's followed me knows how much I've hated people picking De Silva. And like the surprise on their faces... when he blanked like 4 weeks in a row after he scored 2 goals from like 30 yards. And people were like, oh, but he's taking good shots. Like, it was never going to happen. It felt like one of the most predictable like bandwagon fails we have ever seen playing FPL. You just joined the chat. Mopai worth buying? No, not for me. I'd rather Solanke at the cheaper price. Their next 4 fixtures are so nice. Just go with that. So, I think I can confirm that transfer, and then I think it leaves me one decision left to make. I'm going to go with Solanke over Tony. I'm going to take the money, and I'm going to do it. Tony out, Solanke in. That's the plan, but I still have other transfers to make. De Silva. Just join the stream, Harry. What's my plans? So I'm on Wildcard at the moment. Son got a hat-trick from 0.3 XG. But that's Son, right? Son is an elite finisher. De Silva is not an elite finisher. De Silva is never been and will never be an elite finisher like Son. You cannot compare the two. Is Mitrovic injured? No, Mitrovic is going to play. People not happy that I'm going Tony to Solanke. Is Mitrovic injured? No, Mitrovic is fine. Fadsley, please no. It's just the fixtures. It just saves me a transfer. Goalkeepers are settled. I basically have one decision left to make. I think I'm going to make this. It's done. Transfer done. Solanke in. Transfer done. Transfers in and done. No, everyone. Solanke is good fixtures. It's done. It's done. No, you've thrown FPL this season. People are not happy with it. People are not happy with it. I just need the transfer later down the line. People are not pleased. Because I need the money elsewhere in my team. One of my reasons on owning Solanke, the fixtures are so good. And, you know, he scored against Forest. He got an assist against Forest. He's so key to what they do. Plays 90 minutes. Their fixtures are so good, right? Brentford, Leicester, Southampton at home in their next 4. Very, very nice. I think he's capable of doing well for his value. I don't think he'll match Tony. I'm not saying that. But I think for value, he'll do well. It's all over. Oh, no. Oh, no. Solanke is in. No. Well played. There's such mixed opinions. De Silva and Solanke, brothers of destruction. I love it. I love it. Who said that? Magic. I love it. Welcome to everyone joining. Again, I am just trying to finalise my wildcard. So basically where we're at now, chat, so you can follow along. He had a fluke game though. But Bournemouth have looked good. Like, their underlying numbers are not great, but their fixtures are good and they've looked quite strong. So I need the money as well for future transfers. I got 3.5 million in the bank. Do I do Trent to Trippier? Trippier to Trent straight away. Do I do Martinelli to Trent? Yeah. Which of the 3 don't I own? Trippier, Trent, or Martinelli? Let me make it a poll. Who would you sell? Not own. Okay, so who would you sell? So who would you not have in your wildcard? I was gonna put Solanke as the 4th option, but I just know that it will get all the votes. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. You're going to want Trent anyway. So just vote on the poll. Who would I sell? Who would I not own out of those 3? I can only own 2 of them. So who would you not have? Martinelli or Sterling? Martinelli, Sterling's not worth the price he is. How much do I have left in the bank? Like, loads. 3.5 million. 3.5 million. So, this is how we line up for this week, in theory. Which is fine. But I need... Here's a really funny one. Hang on. 3.5 million. Why don't I do this, right? Right, hear me out. Hear me out. Maybe we can own all three of them, right? I have the money. I have the money. I bench Guehi, I bench Andreas, and then I bench whoever's got the worst fixture, right? So I can bench... I'll bench Trippier this week against Fulham. Next week, I could bench Martinelli, for example. Then, yeah, so Arman is saying, then I can't get Salah, but I then don't need the other transfer. Like, I have 3 transfers between now and then, and I don't have the other transfer that I need. Surely I do this. Surely I do this. Surely this is the play. Surely we've cracked it. We've actually cracked it. We've actually done it. Wilson or Adams? Wilson. I don't love either though. So like how it might be this Harry's Ben Johnson. I picked Ben Johnson for anyone who's not aware, and I basically like had him for loads of weeks, and he just didn't play ever, and he was a real pain. But so I think I actually might have cracked it. So instead of Tony, I have Solanke. Let's just see what the team looks like. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back. Right, Tony. I think I've got it. I think I've cracked it. Tony to Solanke. Done. I then have Martinelli still in my team. Yeah, this is the move. This is it. Patterson to Guehi as well. I don't know why it's saying I can't afford it, because I can, right? So I've cracked nothing. I have. Trust me. Right. So this week, I'll bench Trippier, right? That's fine. Next week, not a fan of Nico Twent. Right? Next week, I can bench whoever I want. Martinelli. Sweet. Game week 11. When Son comes in, Martinelli starts over Trippier. Absolutely love it. Game week 12. Would I do Bowen to Maddison now? Then I'd have 0.5 bang instead of 0.4. Is it worth it? If it's for free, yeah, Eddie, I wouldn't do -4. Trippier bench. And then this week, when they've all got a difficult fixture, I don't even like. I then just have 2 transfers to go. Okay, Salah's coming in for De Bruyne, and where's the rest of the money coming from with my second transfer? I go Salah in for De Bruyne, and then I go, okay, I'm gonna sell Trippier to a cheap option as my second transfer to free up the money. I'm gonna do Martinelli out. It probably won't be Martinelli out. I could do Solanke out at that point. There's a lot of things I could do here. Sure, I can afford it. Yeah. I just have to use my second transfer in that week to do whatever it needed to free up the money to get Salah in. Do I think I'm happy with it? I don't quite know. Guys, if you haven't already, please make sure you've subscribed to the channel and you've subscribed, like the stream, and subscribe to the channel as well. A few new faces in the chat. I massively appreciate it. We are really aiming for 34k subscribers. We need 100 exactly There must be 100 of you in the chat that have not. This is not locked. I have not made the decision yet. I have not made the decision yet. No route to Salah. The route to Salah is there. I'm not locked in though. But if you haven't already, yeah, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 34k. Right. So the route to Salah, right? You're like, Harry, you can't do it. You can't do it. Let me get up on this one. So I go De Bruyne out and I go Salah in at 12.8. Harry, you're 0.4 short. There are so many places that I can free up that money. Being 0.4 short only. Like, I in theory could do Guehi to a player that doesn't play if I wanted to, but I think I need him. So I'd have 1, 2, 3 not playing. Yeah, but I'll go Solanke downgrade. I will do, like, Trippier's time might be up, for example. So there's plenty of places that I can free up the money. I could even sell Gator. If Iverson is suddenly starting all the time, boom. Boom. These things are possible. I'm not locking it in because I think things could change. But I think we are getting to a point. I think we are getting to a point now where we're pretty close. We're pretty close to the final team. So that means we can do more of your questions. Thoughts on 4-4-2 versus 3-4-3? I don't think it matters. I think it just depends on the players you are able to own. What console do I have? I have a PS4 still. I'm still in old gen. I need to move up to new gen. If you haven't already, guys, remember that there are 2 membership tiers as well. Oh, Mikey, sorry. That you can subscribe to. The tier 2 gets you that Twitter group chat as well. All of the information you need is on my page. Do I play Foden or Odegaard? Foden, definitely. Stones to Trent for a hit? No. No, I wouldn't do it for a hit. What about St. Maximin? St. Maximin? No. I don't think he's going to start this week. Sorry. Suddenly caught me off guard. I don't think he's going to start this week. Chaël as a mad wildcard punt. It's too mad for me. Just go to Reece James. Just go to Reece James. Cheap mid and Kane instead. Sorry, Salah king of the game week. He could be. I don't have him, but I'm happy with how this is looking. Solanke has allowed me to do everything I never thought I would be able to. Barnes in for Martinelli. Barnes in for Martinelli. I mean, I could do that as well, but I'm cool with Ward Iverson. I'm not going Ward Iverson for the time being until they sack him. So no, not at the moment. I could, yeah, the only other thing is, do I ditch Martinelli? Like Martinelli to someone cheaper, but I think the whole point of this was it allows us to keep him. Would I choose Pope or Fabianski on wildcard? Probably Fabianski. I think betting against Newcastle is a very viable strategy. Who would I be able to get? So if I go Salah in here and I say, okay, I'm gonna just start with the money in the bank. I have 5.9. 5.9 for a midfielder. Who does this leave me capable of getting? No one that I love the look of. Billing. Gordon. Who do they play in game week 12? Newcastle, Palace. No, it doesn't really work. I'd probably end up going all the way down to Bailey. So... But I like this. It allows me to keep the value in Martinelli. It allows me to keep the value in Trent. In Cancelo. It allows me to keep the value in Trippier whilst also owning them all. As you say in the chat, the only caveat to this team is looking at, okay, when I want Salah in, hang on. How is it saying I can afford it with Salah? Who was in instead? Someone was different, but I don't know who it was. Someone was different, but I can't remember who it was. Yeah. That's going to be my thing. How do I go and get Salah into this team? Goalkeepers were different. Oh, it was Iverson in goal. Thanks, man. Cool. Let me put the team back up on the big pick team. Cool, there we go. Keepers were different. Iverson, thanks. You're 0.2 short of Grahey. Should I defender I would get for 4.1 max? It's still Neco Williams for me. Still Neco Williams. Iverson, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't notice. My head, it just peaks up a little bit, doesn't it? Why not attack the fixtures by doing Martinelli to Barnes and bring him back for 13? I could. It's possible. I would just need... Just leaves me even shorter of getting Salah in. And I quite like the option that I have now where I keep the value in him and I get to play him in like the games that I want and then don't have to play him in the games that I don't want. If that makes sense. I think Maddison is enough for me. Final squad, not quite. I still think there's a couple of things that I'm not 100% settled on, like Martinelli. But I think apart from that, I don't know if I can afford... I can't afford Barnes now. Yeah, I can't afford Barnes. I can't afford to go to Barnes. Iverson starting. No, I think Ward will start. Play Gross or Gundogan this week. Probably Gundogan. But they're not my favourite options. I've been looking to move them on. Patson Daka. If he starts consistently, he could be a really nice option. But again, we just don't know if that's going to be the case. Like, Vardy's surely not going to just rot on the bench now. I can't see that happening. Pope or Ward, Soufal or Trippier. So Pope or Ward, I'd start Ward this week. Soufal or Trippier. I'd probably go Soufal this week. Yeah, for me, I think there are certain times where you can try and get ahead in certain instances, and it may not always work out. Captaincy for me, going against Haaland, is not the place I like to do it. Other people like to do it there, and they go, okay, I'm not going to captain Haaland, I'm going to captain Salah this week, which is fine. Or like another week going Son or Kane captain. Picking where you think there's going to be a clean sheet wipeout, for example, like hoping that Newcastle score this week. Newcastle concede away at Fulham. I think is absolutely fine. I think it's a good way to go. Who is better pick? Mbeumo and Solanke. I like Solanke. Just he's more of that focal point. Mbeumo's good, but Mbeumo's not a bad pick. Plays for a team that scored more goals, but I just like how focal Solanke is. Tony or Solanke if you can't afford Trent. If it doesn't make a difference to Trent, then maybe Tony. But the Solanke pick allows me to do a lot. And because I've got basically a 12-man squad, I can bench him some weeks if I need to. Like I could bench him away at Fulham, for example. And I've got, well, actually probably not a good week because that's the week that... Yeah. Why didn't I bring Mings instead of Guehi, especially Aston Villa better defensively than Crystal Palace? Crystal Palace only look bad defensively because of the fixtures they've had. And I see people saying don't pick Guehi. They've had really difficult games. But they've they conceded like Arsenal, Liverpool, City, fine. Apart from that, they conceded once to Villa, once to Brentford, and kept a clean sheet against Newcastle. Like, those are fine numbers. 2 goals conceded in 3 games outside of the top 6. It just depends how you want to spin it. Like, if you spin it like that, you think, oh, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you spin, they've got this XG overall, then yeah, it's not good because of the fixtures that they have had. So... Luis Diaz ahead of Zaha. I don't have the money. I've got like 0.2 in the bank now. 0.2 in the bank. Would I play Soufal, Wolves ahead of Martinelli? No, I wouldn't. I'd play Martinelli this week. I probably want Trippier first on my bench though. Let's be realistic, Harry. Trippier first on my bench. It's just that Martinelli pick now. Like, do I need all of these, the strength that I've got? Do I need the strength that I've got here? 31 minutes till deadline. Thank you for the reminder, Nuclear. I appreciate it. I do need to add, so I did have the countdown, like here. I can make it really small, but I can't remember how to start it again now. Tools? No. Tools. No. Scenes. No. Profile docs. No. View. Edit. File. I have no idea how I did it, but it can't count down until I find out how to do it. Tools. It will show us in here. Scripts. Countdown. Here we go. How long have we got? 30 minutes. I don't want it in seconds. What's 30 minutes in seconds? 30 times 60, 1,800. Did that work? Oh, it did. Oh. Love it. Sorry. Back to the stream, but got it to work. I spent so long trying to get that to work. On a wildcard, Ward Iverson is Ward for me. You can save the 0.1 if you want, but I think Ward is the one who's going to play for the time being. I won lots of compliments in the chat about how good my countdown timer is. I mean, it's slightly behind, but you're not keen on Zaha. This week, I understand why, but from next week, Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, and that run is really nice. West Ham, Forest. It's a great run until the World Cup. Is Solanke locked in? Yeah, because I've sold I don't have the value tied up in Tony anymore, so he's not coming back in. Transfers confirmed. The only thing that might change, and quite possibly will change, is Martinelli. Guaranteed he puts Salah in. I'm not starting with Salah. Like that's one of the things that is not happening. Trent is it. De Bruyne is in my team for the next two. De Bruyne is in for Manchester United and Southampton at home, and then I will sell him and I will go and buy Heung-min Son for Everton at home in game week 11, and I will captain Heung-min Son against Everton at home whilst Liverpool fight it out against Manchester City, and everyone is on captain Haaland, captain Salah, and I'm there with captain Heung-min Son. Don't lock in Trent. It's just Martinelli for me. It basically my squad has one too many good players in. So, you're back. Anything changed? The timer has changed. You've been on for me for a while to get my timer sorted out, and it is there. So, you're back. Best defender under 5 million to play most game weeks. I quite like Guehi if you don't need him this week, actually. He's up there. He's definitely up there with one of the best. Let me look at the predicted points as well. Position defenders. Max price 5. Saliba is the best, but he doesn't have that fixture. Then you have the Crystal Palace guys. So I just go Guehi, to be honest. Again, it's not great this week, but long term, it's good. Guaita, Dallo, or Raya Guehi. I don't want Dallo. I don't want Raya. I would just double up. Honestly, I've got the double up. Guaita, Guehi. They're just good to go. They're good for their price. So yeah, for me, I would... Honestly, the prices that those Palace defenders are at, Guehi 4.3 million. Wolves at home in the week you need him. For me, it's a no-brainer to have him in your wildcard. Guaita is the goalkeeper to go with as well. For me, the fixtures are so nice. I understand you looking at others, but the fixtures... Let me get the fixture ticker up as well. Season ticker. Yeah, so sort by defence between now and the World Cup. Game week 16. Sort by difficulty. Defence. Look who's top. Palace. Then you've got Leicester, right? So I've got the goalkeepers from these two teams. The easiest fixtures between now and the World Cup. Bournemouth, Fulham, Everton are up there. So if you do want to go Pickford, I just about get it. But the next 4 are really difficult for them. They're really heavily focused on
4 weeks, which is what I don't like. So you get teams that go high up, just a little bit of like info, and I like some people just want answers, and some people want to like have help with the their decision making. I like the countdown actually. One thing for me on decision making when you're looking at a fixture ticket is you need to look how reliant are certain teams on certain good fixtures to really boost them up the fixture ticker. You've got Palace, who are good overall, right? They're not like really good fixtures, but they are good 6 fixtures on a whole. You look at Everton, they rely really heavily on like Palace, Bournemouth, and then maybe like Southampton. They rely massively on like 3 games. And if as soon as you can see the goal there, things go downhill. And it's quite similar with with Newcastle. They rely really heavily on Villa at home, Everton at home for their good fixture run. You take those out and they will drop like down to the bottom. So I can do the same team, but it leaves me with naught in the bank. Do I think I should still do it? To be honest, I don't think it will massively impact it because we'll have to free up money for Salah anyway, and I don't think the 0.2 is going to make the difference. Dara, I really don't think that 0.2 is going to make the difference. Because if you do Trippier out, like you just go for a bigger downgrade, and that's absolutely fine. Like we could do Trippier to like an Arsenal defender like Saliba when we want to get him back for their nice run of fixtures. So I have virtually nothing. I've only got 0.2 in the bank with this team. That's after the Salah transfer. Again, guys, 25 minutes to the deadline. If you haven't already, we are just 90 subscribers away from 34,000 subscribers. We are going to lock the wildcard in soon, I promise. But if you haven't already, please make sure you've liked the stream and most importantly, subscribe to the channel as well. For anyone new thinking about subscribing, I upload 3 videos a week and do a live stream whilst trying to balance a full-time job as well. So if that's no reason to subscribe, then I don't know what is. Cool, we are getting close to deadline, so I am going to turn subscriber only mode on. You just need to subscribe for 1 second to be able to comment in the chat again. If not, you can stick around while I finalise my wildcard if you don't want to subscribe as well. Where's my final team? I'm pretty certain this is going to be almost it. I am considering Martinelli out for someone else, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Sorry, just putting it out just putting a tweet out. What do I do for work? I do marketing, which is pretty vague, but yeah. Can't afford Trent. I mean, you could start with Simicast, but if you can't go Trent, then I just go all the way down to like a 4.5 and think about how to get Trent in a couple of weeks and just bank the cash and just start Trippier. Sorry, one sec. So, start Saliba or Fofana. It's back to, it's not me on my phone. We're just going back to the silent streams again. Seeing as you all enjoyed that so much last time, the last 20 minutes of my stream, I'm just not going to say anything. Just going to be complete silence. What a deadline stream that would be. Start Perisic or Trippier. I'd play Trippier out of those two. If you had to downgrade Trippier to Soufal on wildcard to have my team, would I? Yeah. I probably would. I quite like Soufal. I quite like the West Ham fixtures coming up. They're not look great. My team value looks insane. It's pretty good, but Solanke also helps me get a lot. But yes, team value is good. Team value is good, and it's times like this I'm glad I chased price rises early on. Let me just one second. Cool. Raya or Guaita? Raya or Guaita? Guaita for me is the one. Who am I considering bringing in for Martinelli? One of the Leeds options could definitely work. Who do they predict? Who does Scout predict? Position, midfielders, max price. I have like 6.5, I think. Over this run, Ward Prowse always does well on consistency of predicted points. But you've got Sinistera. Oh, he's because he's 6'6". Martinelli is high up there though. Martinelli is good there, and it means I don't like. How did I manage to get Trent? So I downgraded Tony to Solanke, which just suddenly someone in the chat was like, Harry, you don't need to do all of this. Just ditch Neco Williams and get Trent. And I was like, oh, fine. 3.5 million sat in the bank. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to upgrade Neco Williams to Trent. Someone just replied, like a foghorn going on outside my house. What is that? I hope you can't hear it because that's annoying. So, no Newcastle defenders and I'm starting Zaha. It's true, but I think I just got to hope Newcastle concede. If Newcastle keep a clean sheet, I'm in the mud. As simple as that. I'm in the mud as soon as Newcastle keep a clean sheet. Do I think Diaz starts? Yes, I do think he'll start for Liverpool. I do, yeah. I do. Start one, Zaha or Justin. I would start Zaha out of the two. Who is better, Mings, Justin or Castagna? Probably Justin if I had to pick one of those. Probably Justin if I had to pick one. They are welcoming Solanke. They're more welcoming on Solanke than they are on the rest of them, that's for sure. Trippier or Grahey, Harry? Trippier. I mean, they're different values. For this week or generally, I'd pick Trippier, but Grahey is a good, cheap bench option, isn't he? You can't afford Grahey. Should I get Emerson with naught in the bank? I'd go Neco Williams. Better option than Emerson. Why? I cannot copy Harry. You have minus 0.3. If you guys are short of this and you are, wanting to use this team, 0.3 is pretty easy to find. Like, Guehi to Neco Williams and Ward to Iverson will get you that 0.3. Why not swap Martinelli for Trippier? Because I like Martinelli. It's a good fixture. I think there'll be goals in that derby. There often are. Come on, everyone. 495 of us. Let's get those lights going. Yeah, HJ smashed it. Martinelli or Justin. Martinelli. Start Zaha or Soufal. I'd probably still start Zaha. Haaland or Salah or Haaland captain. Haaland for me. I'm going to vice captain Trent though. I'm going to vice captain Trent. Gundo, Gross or Andreas Pereira. If I had to start one this week, probably Gundogan. Worth downgrading Martinelli to Bailey in order to afford Trent. Again, it's one of those things like if I have to pick between Trent and Martinelli, where am I going? I'm probably gonna pick Trent now, but it's pretty close. So yes, in the answer, Martinelli or Barnes. If you want to take the gamble on going Barnes, he's not looked that great so far this season though, which does put me off a little bit. We're so close to 500 likes on the stream as well. So close, like 10 away or something. I think, and we need just 50 subscribers between now and the deadline. Iverson or Ward? Ward is going to start. If you don't need them, just go Iverson. Is De Bruyne benched? No. Iverson starting, rumours. That's fine. Like, if Iverson starts and Ward gets benched, then fine. If that happens, fine. Like, Guaita this is the only week that I'm playing Ward, and he'll probably concede anyway, because they're rubbish defensively. Many people on Wildcard try to get your teams in quick. Yeah, I wouldn't leave selecting your teams right up until the deadline, because these things will change. These things will change. The website will... Sorry, one sec. Iverson or Gaeta. I'd start Iverson and just hope he plays. Trippier or Soufal. I'd play Trippier. Soufal or Andreas. I'd play Soufal. So Maximum to Rodrigo or Sinistera. I'd go Sinistera because we just don't know quite where Rodrigo's going to fit in. How have I forwarded this team? You're 0.3 out and have 0.1 million less than you. Have I confirmed those transfers? Not quite. I just think Martinelli, I just don't know if I'm going to play him. Just not sure if I'm going to play him. Who can I get? Joseph, thank you for the subscription. Will Luis Diaz start? I think he will. Salah, Son or De Bruyne? For me, it's De Bruyne at the moment, given the form that Manchester City team are in. Start Pope or Ward? I would go with Ward. Just hope he plays. Can't afford Trent. Other option. If you guys are really copying my team, like, pick your own teams. But, like, Trippier would be the first player that goes. Or Martinelli. Trent wouldn't be going. Total points. Midfielders. You back him against Liverpool, to be honest. Who? Martinelli, yeah. Like, I think Martinelli can do well. I just don't know if there's someone else. Someone else I could potentially get instead. So, is De Bruyne... It is De Bruyne or De Bruyne? No, De Bruyne. I think. Captaincy, Erling Haaland. I'm just having a look at my potential replacements. 6, 8. Who else is up here? Sinistera is the only one. 3.9. And then 3.55, but he's not predicted to outscore Martinelli in any week. Do I bet Trent to outscore Tony the next 3? No, but I can't play 4 forwards. So, mate, I'd stick with Martinelli for now. Wildcard dilemma is going to the wire. Everyone's like, Harry, your team value is crazy high. Is it? Well, that's good. Which wildcard are you playing? My only wildcard. You only get one between now and the World Cup. And I'm playing it. Wildcard active. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Martinelli, no other good options. Yeah, it looks a little bit like that. Guehi, I'm happy with. Andreas, I'm happy with. Trippier, I'm fine with. And I keep him for that Everton at home in game week 12, which is one of the reasons we want Trippier in, because of that blank game week and he has a really nice fixture. He'll play at Everton at home in game week 12. Guehi will play Wolves at home in game week 12. And Andreas will also come off my bench with Villa at home in game week 12, which is fine. And I will bench Haaland, Martinelli, Cancelo. Sorry, guys. I know members asking in the chat. I'm trying to do my best to multitask. Rodrigo for Martinelli. I don't think it's really worth it. I don't think it's really worth it losing the value. You can't afford Tony for Isaac. Would I take a -4 to drop Solanke and Isaac, Saka and Isaac for Zaha and Tony? I wouldn't do a -4. I'd keep Saka this week and get Saka. Oh, you need Saka to Zaha to get the money. I'd just do Isaac to Solanke. Isaac to Solanke. We're literally like 10 subscribers away from 34,000 as well. Hopefully we can hit that. Wildcard active. Deadline stream changing my team. All going well. McAllister and Rodrigo, I don't love either of them. McAllister, I'm definitely, any of my members know I do not like Solanke. I can't actually afford Salah either. So I can't, those saying, go and get Salah in for De Bruyne and captain him, I can't do it unless I was to downgrade Trippier. Like, I could do Trippier to a cheaper option and go and get Salah in, but Barnes and Trent or Maddison and Trippier. Probably Maddison and Trippier. I just don't like Barnes nearly as much as I like Maddison. Harry Goat, appreciate it. Why Ward? Because I just think he's gonna start. Play Emerson or take out Isaac for a hit. I'd play Emerson this week. Why Solanke over Tony? Because I needed the money for elsewhere in my squad. I can't believe you've binned off your star man, Ivan Toney. So, start Rashford or Mings. I don't think Rashford's going to play. So, I'd start Justin out of those. I don't think so. If you think Rashford, if you want to take the chance and play Rashford, fine. But I think it'll be Justin that plays out of those three for you. Tony or Wilson for a 2-week punt. I would go Tony for 2 weeks. When would you use a -4 this week? -4 is only if you've got injured players you potentially want to sell. So how long have we got? A little timer. I love it. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to make it look better, but the timer is staying. We don't need the wildcard active as well, so we can move that and we'll make a nice countdown as well. Does it matter if you have Guehi or not? No, if you don't have the money and want to go cheaper, then fine. But I do like it. I do like this team. So, one final ask. We are so close to 34k. We might not hit it during this stream. Time is great. I appreciate it. But we are going to lock this team in. If you guys are going to head off straight away after I've said that, then fine. But I appreciate everyone coming in and joining. We're going to stay live until the deadline answering your questions, of course. I appreciate it. Wildcard is active. Wildcard is locked in. If you have enjoyed, please do think about subscribing to the channel. Do think about joining the channel as a channel member as well, if you do appreciate it. Tier 2 is where it's at. The group chat is great fun. We chat about our teams all throughout the week as well. Members in the chat, tell everyone how good the Tier 2 chat is, how much fun it's been so far this season. So happy that I implemented it. And then the Tier 1 at the top as well. There's a link in the description which you can sign up. If not, on my YouTube page, there will be a big button to allow you to join. So yeah, this is what we're going to lock in. Wildcard is active. So yeah, on YouTube, this big join button here. Big join button next to customize channel. That is where you want. But this 33.9, come on, there must be some of you in here. But I'll leave my team up and I will do questions until the deadline in 7.5 minutes. The prices are monthly. The prices are monthly, not weekly. Cheaper than one coffee a month. Same price as getting that Tier 2. Can't afford Trent. 5 point in the bank. How to get what locked in? Yeah. 500 likes as well. Let's go. You can't afford Trent. You've only got 5.9. Team value is quite low there. You need 1.5. Like, you could just do Trippier to Neco Williams will free up almost all of it. If you're really that short, then I think you've got to ditch. Like, you could go Cancelo to Walker if you wanted to do that. That will free up enough money, and then you don't have Cancelo, but Walker looks like he's back fit and in training. So yeah, you could go with him. Jordan, thank you so much for joining as a top tier member. Drop me a message on Twitter and I will get you added to the group chat straight after the stream. I appreciate it. Thanks for the help. Your favorite FPL account on YouTube. I appreciate it. Hope favorite on Twitter as well. I'm joking. Anyone on TikTok as well, go and check me out on TikTok as well. Start Sufal, Trippier or Zaha. Probably Zaha. I just play him if you've got him this week. Despite playing Chelsea, I still think it's good. Start Bailey or Gibbs White. Probably Bailey, hope he plays. Justin or Kyle Walker-Peters. I played Justin. If you're looking for a defender, I don't think Justin's bad for this week. Don't think Justin is bad for this week at all. Trippier or Guehi to Neco Williams? Guehi probably. Probably, because Trippier has a really nice fixture in Game Week 12 when you're going to need him. So, yeah. Salah starts. I have no reason to think Salah won't start. No reason to think he won't. Short 0.2 to get Trent in. Any suggestions? Yeah, just like Guehi to Neco Williams. Like Guehi to Neco Williams, or like Ward to Iverson if you need more than that as well. Iverson is starting for me this week. Thoughts? Like, if you've got Ward and Iverson and you want to play them over your keepers who've got difficult games, then absolutely fine. Then this is absolutely fine. I keep him De Bruyne. Yep, this is locked in, ready to go. Thank you all for joining again. 4 minutes left until the deadline. Let's do some quick fire questions. Just done tier 2. How'd you get in the group chat? Yeah, thank you, Jordan, so much for joining. Message me on Twitter. Drop me a direct message on Twitter. My DMs are open, and I will add you to the group chat on Twitter straight away. But it is on Twitter, so yeah, drop me a message there, and I will get you added. It's not WhatsApp. It is like just on Twitter. So yeah, just drop me a DM on Twitter with a screenshot of you joining, and yeah. Message on Twitter. Cool. Trippier or Martinelli this week? I play Martinelli as per my team. Trippier or Solanke this week? Solanke as per my team. Cheap or good replacements for Andreas? I wouldn't. Murphy if you need to save money at Newcastle, but I just go Andreas. Wilson or Solanke? Solanke. Trent as vice? Yes. This is my final team. Yes, it is. We are locked in. Thank you all for joining. Subscribe before you go. Downgrade Trippier for Soufal to get the same team as you. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Simicast's a good choice. He's so short term because Robbo won't be out for very long, so no. Trippier benched. Yeah, first bench because I think Fulham will score. Cucurella to James for a hit. Only Trippier, Cancelo, and Cody fit. It will benefit you in the long term. If you can do it for free next week, then do it for free next week. If not, then yeah, this week. Bailey or Martinelli to start? I'd start Martinelli, definitely. We don't even know if Bailey's going to start. Salah over De Bruyne if chasing points. For captaincy, if you're really chasing already, then fine. But no one's chasing at this point. It's only 8 game weeks in. You're not chasing yet. Ward or Iverson starting? I think Ward will start. Bailey or Martinelli? Martinelli. What do I think about captaining Maddison? Again, for me, Haaland is captain. But if you want to go different and captain elsewhere and go for Maddison, then that is absolutely fine. Trent vice captain, yes. When am I planning on playing Trippier? So next week, I'll play Trippier against Brentford, against Everton. I think. Would I start Gross or De Silva? Anyone but De Silva. Anyone but De Silva. He's becoming like the pain of the stream. This is it. This is the bench order. This is it. Like, I'm not touching my team between now and the deadline. This is it. We are ready to lock it in. Everyone's like, this. Everyone's like, your team value is crazy. Wow, that's good. Meslier or Gaeta? Gaeta in goal again, as per my team. We are 1 minute away. Make sure your teams are locked in. Andreas or Bailey? Andreas is the one I've gone with because Bailey's just not going to start every week. Neco Williams or Emerson? Neco Williams because Emerson is not nailed as we saw last week. Good luck. Thank you, guys. Wildcard is active again. Just need to check 5 times that I've actually activated my wildcard. Wildcard active, cool. Van Dijk or Justin? Van Dijk, but they're so different. My team value is quite high. I don't quite know what it is, but I'll have a look after the stream. Should I play Ward over Pope this week? I would, but I know not everyone will agree with that. Not everyone will agree with that. So, 40 seconds until the deadline. Make sure your team's all locked in. Ward will start. Guys, you got to just go and check your teams. By the time I answer this with this delay on the stream, it's going to be no time to do anything. So, go and check your teams already. Go and lock them in. I'm going to wrap up the stream now. Thank you so much for joining. Didn't quite hit 34,000. So, if there are viewers here still watching that are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button before you go. If not, we'll hit it. We'll hit it next week, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining. Good luck this game week. I'll be back on Sunday with a new video. And have a lovely weekend. And enjoy FPL being back. Thanks, guys.